Hey guys, it is super early in the morning. I'm up earlier than usual. I actually feel pretty decent today because I've been sick for the last 3 weeks. And I had something that I really want to talk about with you guys today. The last month has been chaos in my life, like absolute chaos. From planning for several different visitors to come to my home, to photo shoots that I worked really hard through some anxiety issues, and I worked hard through a lot of different things to make a lot of things happen that weren't even things that maybe I wanted to do or were comfortable with. But I really believe in exposure therapy. I mean, I talk about it a lot, and I really do believe in exposure therapy. So I forced myself to do things to show myself that it was okay, right? So it was okay, and in the end, I thought everything was going to be worth it. And it is worth it because I showed myself that I could do these things. Because of overexertion, I became seriously exhausted. Because my body was exhausted, my immune system was really low. I got the flu. I've had it for over 3 weeks now. My voice is barely, I mean, it's there, but you all know, usually I'm loud, but it's sometimes by the end of the day hard to even talk sometimes right now. And this is kind of a revamp because 3 days ago, think about 3 days ago, I was feeling a lot better. Yeah, 3 days ago I was feeling a lot better. And I had a really stressful weekend. And like I started feeling better on Saturday morning. Saturday morning I was like, I could fucking run a marathon. I feel so good. Saturday all day I didn't overexert myself, but I stayed busy, and I was so excited because I wasn't sleepy by 1 and didn't need to take a nap because this flu has been kicking my ass. So Saturday went great, and then Sunday morning actually I went to the beach for sunrise. And then I stayed until almost noon. So I was there for about 6 hours. And I just laid on the beach and I turned my little radio on. And by the way, finding a little portable radio that's not your phone and a Bluetooth speaker for the beach is damn near impossible. I wasn't talking about a boom box. I was talking about just a little radio. I finally found one at Target, guys, for $15 fucking. But the only thing I had seen before that was a little crank radio, which is great if you run out of batteries or you're out to sea. It's got a flashlight on it, whatever. But like, girl, I wasn't spending $50 on that little bitty not transistor, crank radio or whatever, right? But Sunday, I went to the beach and just chilled solo for like 6 hours and reflected and listened to the water and had my little radio to drown out anything around me. And I left there around noon so that I could come home and watch the Heat game because we had some people coming over, and it was a big Game 7 in a playoff conference or a playoff rounds. So my voice was pretty much back, and I was feeling pretty good. I mean, I was feeling pretty good, but there was some stress and drama with a friend of mine. I'm not really going to go into it, at least not right now, because it doesn't matter. It just doesn't matter. You see, when I close a chapter in my life, I close a chapter and I leave it closed. When I tell people I don't fuck with my mother, I don't think they really fucking get it. I think most people are so much fucking talk to try and, we fake it till we make it. So if you keep telling yourself, just like when we tell ourselves negative things, we think negative about ourselves. So if you keep telling yourself positive things, or you keep telling yourself something, eventually you hope that your brain will adapt to it. I talked about this yesterday. I've talked about this for a couple days on my Snapchat, but yesterday I talked about boundaries and healing and, things that are out of your control and my control, things like that. I don't think people intentionally realize, I don't think they get it. I don't think, like I said, when I say I don't fuck with my mom, I don't fuck with my mom. I don't call her. I don't text her. I don't look her up online. I don't send her a Christmas card. She does not exist to me. It used to be because I was mad at her. And it used to be out of meanness even sometimes. But now it's out of I want peace in my life. And it's been this way for about 2 years. I just want peace. I'm a girl who has been through 100 million fucking fucked up things, just like the rest of you, we all have, that has decided in her life, in her late 30s, that she wants inner peace. That's why I go to the beach for 6 hours, you know? Everybody knows, like, 6 hours, how you better, I care. It's like, because it's my inner peace. And I want that in life. It's the best feeling in the world. So I don't want constant turmoil and constant going on in my life. When I was younger, yes, I was involved with all of that. But I think people forget that I'm older. And that doesn't mean anything because my mother is older than me and she constantly has to perpetuate that. It's habit. It's something that we've grown accustomed to. I mean, the internet is constantly full of people bitching and complaining with each other. Constantly. You can't read comments anywhere because all it is, even if it's not about you, it's this constantly. But even your fans or people's supporters or whatever are fighting amongst themselves. So people are ingrained to fight. Just the way it is. Well, I choose not to fight with people. I don't fight with people. I may have a few words with somebody. I might try to talk about whatever conflict there might be. But when I'm done, I'm done. I'm done. I close the door and I lock it. And it's going to be really hard for you to get to me. Like, really hard. And if you do, it could be not nice. So the best thing in that situation, like my mother, used to try to be a bitch. She used to try to contact and harass and leave nasty shit online. And, you know, because she was hurt that I didn't speak to her, or mad, or whatever her emotion was. I can't really vouch for that. But I didn't speak to her because I don't speak to her because I have boundaries. Oops, sorry about that, guys. And if you don't know what boundaries are, I mean, simply a boundary is what you think it is, a boundary. We all know what that is, except for this is an emotional boundary. And an emotional boundary comes whenever you've been hurt, wronged, and you feel that way. It's not saying someone did something to you. It's a feeling that you feel. And when you feel hurt or wronged or betrayed or whatever it is you feel, you have that right to eliminate that person from your life, which then eliminates those feelings. Now, it's not easy to just remove people from your life at all. But I have found it to be the most beneficial way for me to deal with things that I need to deal with. Also, when I remove somebody from my life, it means I'm done fucking with them. Period. It doesn't mean I hate them. I mean, my mother gave birth to me. I mean, how can you, I mean, you know, there's nobody else that's going to trump that. You feel me? There's nobody else that is going to be any harder for me to remove from my life. There's not going to be anyone that could really honestly mean much more. I mean, yeah, I love, you know, all my family and whatever, but this person gave me life, so removing her from my life, I've done it several times, but this time has been probably not, I wouldn't say the longest. It's been over 2 years now, right over 2 years since the last time I spoke to her. I went about 5, the longest probably. But this has been the most significant for me because I know what it means behind it. It doesn't matter anyone else. And what I mean by that is I don't mean like I know what she did or whatever like that. What I mean by that is I know how I feel inside this time. I know what peace all of this has brought me, even though there is turmoil and there is heartbreak. But at the end of the day, there's peace. But I was online the other day, and just a quote I just happened to see a quote about peace. And it says, to find peace, you have to be willing to lose your connection with the people, places, and things that create all the noise in your life. I live by that. I lived by that for over 10 years now. You know, most people keep people in their life. Pretty much everybody I talk to or know continue to allow abusive, judgmental, anybody who makes you feel less than in their life. And they use the excuses that they've known them for so long, or they love them, or they've had this experience with them, or they're their parent, or their sibling, or it's family. What are you going to do? And, you know, we live a very short life. A girl my sister went to high school with recently, and her husband, who also went to high school with my sister, he was 35, and he died a couple weeks ago of brain cancer. He wasn't some big fat ass that's gonna die from diabetes, as I hear constantly on the goddamn fucking internet. He wasn't someone who abused his body with drugs. I mean, maybe when we were young, recreational stuff, I don't know. When we were well, I know that he was friends with my sister's ex. But he was he was a very upstanding citizen. And even if he did whatever, it's nobody's business. It wouldn't even be anybody's business. It's just nobody's business to judge him. But the whole point of that little story is that we live so short lives. He's 35. He was 35 when he died, 3 years younger than I'm going to be in a few weeks. That's bewildering to me. We live such short lives that we need to be happy. You can't allow, and I'm not saying don't deal with things that come your way, but you have to prioritize what's important in your life and who's important in your life. And if people don't like you, that's not your problem. That's not your problem. If people don't want to be a part of your life, or people want to talk about you, I always say what others think about us is none of our business. And you know, it goes all the way around, not just strangers, not just haters, but friends too, or people who you thought were your friends. And then it's up to you to make the decision to make a boundary and stick by that boundary and not allow people to continue to affect your psyche that way. And I say that very touch and go, because you have to remember that you are the one that creates the turmoil. You're the one that allows that into your bubble to happen. So that's why when I see the first sign of bullshit from someone that's not super impacting my life, I cut the cord. I'm not saying it's the way for everybody to do it. I'm not saying it's 100% the right thing to do, or I don't know. But this is what I do know. I do know that my body will tell me when I'm doing things the right way, right? Like, we talk about this. If your body needs something, whether it's food, nourish it. If you feel like you need to exercise, exercise. Like, my body needs the sun. I can feel it sometimes. And so I got to get out. And as soon as I'm like, it's like I just feel it and I can just breathe, you know? So our bodies will tell us when we need something. My body was telling me that this wasn't something I wanted to fuck with anymore. I mean, I have not been this sick in years. I allowed the stress, the overexhaustion, the trying to make everything perfect, trying to be the perfect everything, to get me really, really, really sick. And I know better. I do know better. But sometimes, even when we know better, I don't know, we do things because we feel like we want to be liked, or because we don't want to disappoint somebody. We want them to be happy, or we want them to have a good time. And, you know, this stopped me in my tracks the last few days and reminded me, like, Why were you doing this for anyone else? Why were you not living by what you always fucking say? You know, we want to see the best in people, I think. And I think we want all the fairy tale magicness that we think exists. And it does exist. Don't think it doesn't. It really does. I don't want to be such a downer and be like, it doesn't exist. It does. But, you know, as long as we learn a lesson and move forward, nothing's a mistake. Real quick, because I know this video is longer than I want it to be, because they always are, because that's how I roll. I want to talk about the effects stress has on your body real quick. For the last couple of years, I've not really had a lot of stress. I mean, here and there I would have little bouts of it. But I've done really, really well with like trying to, you know, zen and calm down and be fucking less stressed, because it's not rocket science that whenever you get super stressed out, it takes a really rough toll on your body. Right here, I'm living proof of this right now. But remember in the beginning of my video, when I was talking about how I felt good on Saturday and Sunday. And then Sunday evening, I allowed this to stress me so bad. Sunday evening, I had to have my company leave. I didn't get to watch the game really. I was dealing with it in a sense. And yesterday morning when I woke up, I was so sick. I was sicker than I had been for 3 fucking weeks. I had a fever of 102. I had chills that were crazy. My voice, I completely lost it yesterday morning. There was no voice. I felt 100 times worse than I had for 3 weeks, all because I had gotten so fucking stressed the day before, and allowed it to make me, like, my immune system was already weakened from being sick, so it just fucking revamped, all because I got overly stressed for something that really wasn't that important. I was so stressed about it last week, building up to it, which is why I had to just fucking blow it up over the weekend. But I was so stressed about it last week, I passed out. I was upset about it, talking to my husband. I could feel my blood pressure getting really high. I couldn't breathe because I was so mad. I was gasping for air and crying more and upset. Next thing I know, I remember getting dizzy and I hit the fucking wall and my knees bruised up and scraped up because apparently I passed out because of stress. This is why it's so important to have your boundaries and to stick with your boundaries. Because just like your belly tells you when you're hungry, my body tells me when I need sun. Your back hurts whenever you need to rest. Your legs hurt when they're too tired, you know. Your teeth hurt when they need work. Your body tells you, okay? And my body was telling me this was enough. This was enough. Like, stop it. It's not worth it. And when your body also gives you a gut instinct or a gut intuition, it's right. Just believe that. Once again, your body will tell you that. And mine did. Mine did before everything happened. I just ignored it because I have anxiety really bad. And so I thought maybe that was anxiety because that's what anxiety does to you, right? It makes you like that. But no. My gut was right. And it's on me for not adhering to that boundary that I had put in place before all of this. So now I've created this new boundary, and it is so important to stick to it. Just like with my mother, I mean, listen, there are times you want to pick up the phone and call her. There are smells that remind you of her. There are things that you do that are just like her. But I have to protect myself. And remember that, always protect yourself, because you are the most important. We live such a short life that we need to enjoy it and be fulfilled. And I'm not saying that means that we won't deal with bullshit in our life, because we will. But the way that we deal with it after the fact is what will bring you peace or chaos. That's all I have for you today, guys. Sorry it's so serious, but this is why I've not really been around. I just felt this is an important lesson to share with you. Bye, guys.